Today we're going to learn how to do a one-way ANOVA using SPSS. The one-way ANOVA is the generalization of the independent t-test to more than two groups. In today's example, we're going to compare whether the amount of weight that young poplar trees have gained, whether they've been fertilized or irrigated or both, is significant in the amount of weight that they gain. So if we take a look at SPSS, we'll see our data. We see that in the first column it indicates whether the poplar tree received no treatment, fertilizer, irrigation, or both fertilizer and irrigation. And in the third column, it shows the weight gain in kilograms of these poplar trees. The second column is actually just the treatment recoded. So to run a one-way ANOVA, you're going to have more than two groups of individuals for whom you are measuring some ratio or interval level variable. In this case, that ratio or interval level variable is the weight. And the grouping is the type of treatment they got, one of the four types. But we simply put a 0 if they received no treatment, a 1 if they received fertilizer, 2 if they received irrigation, and 3 if they received fertilizer and irrigation. The number that you pick doesn't matter, just matters that it's the same number for all of them, but it does have to be a number. In order to run the one-way ANOVA, the variable that indicates the group needs to be a number. So to actually run this test, we click Analyze, Compare Means, one-way ANOVA. Our dependent variable is the weight. That's what we want to know what is affected. That is, how is the weight affected by the treatment? And the treatment recoded is simply the one that we use for the factor. Whether it's 0, 1, 2, or 3 indicates whether the tree received no treatment, fertilizer, irrigation, or both fertilizer and irrigation. We run our one-way ANOVA, and we see that we have a significance level on the far right of 0.003, or 0.3%. That's really small, so we're going to reject the null hypothesis in favor of the alternative hypothesis. If we go back to our initial setup, we have to see what our alternative hypothesis was, and that hypothesis is simply that the treatment does affect the weight gain of these poplar saplings in their early years. Now, the ANOVA, the one-way ANOVA, is a multi-sided test, so it's not going to tell you right off the bat which of these treatments was the best. You can eyeball it and see which one you think was better, but what the ANOVA is telling you in this case is that there is a significant difference between the type of treatment that you use, whether the plant received no fertilizer, irrigation, or both fertilizer and irrigation, and the amount of weight gain. And this is often what you use when you don't have a large sample in the different factors that you collected data on.